Recording in progress. Okay, so I'm just going to read a little bit from Wikipedia. It says that On the Waterfront, that's our movie this week. On the Waterfront is a 1954 American crime film drama directed by Elia Kazan and written by Budd Schulberg. Stars Marlon Brando, features Karl Malden, Lee J. Cobb, Rod Steiger, Paul Henning, and Ava Marie Saint in her film debut. The musical score was composed by Leonard Bernstein. The black and white film was inspired by Crime on the Waterfront by Malcolm Johnson, a series of articles published in November through December of 1948 in the New York Sun. The film focuses on union violence and corruption among longshoremen while detailing widespread corruption, extortion, racketeering on the waterfronts of Hoboken, New Jersey. On the Waterfront was a critical and commercial success and is considered one of the greatest films ever made. It received 12 Academy Award nominations and won 8, including Best Picture, Best Actor for Brando, Best Supporting Actress for Saint, and Best Director for Kazan. In 1997, it was ranked by the American Film Institute as the 8th greatest movie of all time. I'll say a little bit about the plot and then we'll just get into the discussion. Terry Malloy is a former prize fighter whose career is cut short when he purposely lost a fight at the request of local mob boss Johnny Friendly. Terry now works for Friendly's labor union as longshoreman, while his older, more educated brother Charlie is Friendly's right-hand man. So I think that's probably enough little preamble for it. I picked it because it was because Rob Reiner said it was the greatest performance by an actor he'd ever seen, and I'd never seen it before. So,
which actor was he talking about?
He was talking
Brando,
about
I'm sure.
Marlon Brando, yeah. And I mean, it did have quite a cast. I'll say that for it. And I did like it. I mean, it feels like a lot of the movies from that time period. Like, well, it actually, I've said this about other movies where they come to abrupt endings. This one really didn't quite follow that model. They rough him up, and in a lot of movies it'll be over, but he goes in and he clears up the whole situation by being brave and all that. So anyway, I'm glad I picked it. It was a good movie. And so I'll open it up for discussion.
First of all, I can't believe you never saw it before. It is classic. Impressive that Eva Marie Saint in her film debut won Best Supporting Actress. That's pretty notable right there. Couple other people I noticed in it. Fred Gwynn, before his monster was in there. Martin Balsam was one of the Waterfront Crime Commission guys. I mean, there's a few other folks. The guy, I don't know his name, but the big Frankenstein-looking guy. Well, Fred Gwynn is the Frankenstein-looking guy, but the other big behemoth with hands the size of a Buick that was also in Some Like It Hot, one of the mobsters. I noticed he was in there. Yeah, great flick. Great movie.
I could watch this every week.
Yeah, it really is good. I thought everything about it. I think, and I might be wrong here, but I think Elia Kazan, didn't he run the actor's studio? I think he was the first, I think, of the actor's studio. And all those people that you just mentioned, Jeff, were all, I think all of them were from the actor's studio. I'm pretty sure it was. So I'm guessing that, he's got his classes. Marilyn was in the Actors Studio as well, but he's got his classes, and then from his classes, I think that's how he cast a lot of people. You know, I'm pretty sure that he was the first. He started Actors Studio, but they're all so good.
Isn't there
And Brandon,
another
pardon me?
famous director named Kazan?
Yeah, Elia Kazan. Yeah,
Are they related?
No, it's
That's
the same guy.
same guy, Elia Kazan. Yeah,
I was
and
surprised.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, that's all right. Go ahead.
He was in a movie. He's also an actor. He's been in a lot of movies. You'd know him if you'd see him. What one would he be in that you guys would see?
He was the heavy in a couple of the Clint Eastwood
Yeah,
spaghetti westerns.
yeah.
Who
Yeah,
was
he's
Kazan?
done a lot of stuff. He's done a lot of stuff, and he's done rom-coms. I think he was in oh gosh, what's the name of it? The one where the two girls switched houses, one in England and one in LA. I think that was Elia, but I'm not sure. Anyway, he's been in a lot of stuff, and I just recognized all those people were in his classes that I remember seeing, hearing and seeing about them.
Hey, Bill, didn't you ask us to come up with the line from the movie that?
Yep.
So mine is, I ain't gonna eat cheese for no cops, and that's for sure.
And who said that?
Oh, that was
Terry
Marlon.
Malloy.
Yeah.
I think his most famous line is, "I could have been a contender."
Right,
Contender.
right.
Yeah. You were my brother. You should have looked out for me. Yeah.
There was a thing in Wikipedia that said that is the third most famous line of all time. Somewhere.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
Okay, I gotta know what are the others.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be you looking at me. That's got to be one of them, right? De Niro.
Yeah.
That's
Was
gotta
that
be-
line also repeated in Rocky? I could have been a contender.
Not
Yeah, I
that
think I read that, Jeff. I read that.
Oh,
somewhere.
really?
Yeah.
Really,
Wow.
I think it was in, what was the movie you picked, Bill? It was the De Niro movie of the Rocky Marciano.
Raging Bull.
Yeah,
Raging
Raging
Bull.
Bull.
Raging
Yeah.
Bull, it was in that. He used that-
Yeah.
He almost, that entire scene at the very end of the Raging Bull, he does that in a mirror. And he was making appearances in clubs doing that.
Yes. Now, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Now I remember. Yeah.
I also wanted to toss in that Kazan wrote a lot of plays for the New York stage too.
Mm-hmm.
He was almost as famous for that as he was for anything.
Well, I like the whole series. What is it? I could have been special. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody
Yeah. That's it.
rather
Yeah.
than a bum, which I am. And the quote I picked out was, "Never is too much soon for me, Shorty."
I want to know what young Jeff thinks about the movie.
Young Jeff. Wow. Well,
Yeah,
of course,
Crawl was one.
I'd never seen it before, and I enjoyed watching it. I was a little bit lost at the beginning, not really sure what was going on, but it was okay. I wasn't super impressed. I can't believe it was, one of the best movies ever made, but it was okay. I don't know. Maybe the bar was lower back then, but
Or our attention is a lot different now. That's what I think
Yeah.
just seems.
no, it was good. Yeah, I mean, I did recognize some of the people, like Pete said, the Munster guy, and
Car 54.
Yeah.
Right.
I did notice that he was uncredited in the movie.
Fred Gwynn?
Uh-huh.
I think he was in there.
No, I think he had at the beginning. Yeah.
I just
Pretty
just
sure.
noticed it in what I was reading that he was uncredited in there.
Oh.
You know, you were asking about Elia Kazan. He did A Streetcar Named Desire, Death of
Mhm.
the Salesman, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Yeah.
Um, he had quite the
Yeah. Resume.
record.
Yeah.
So Bill, the quote that I liked the best was conscience. That stuff can drive you nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Even though he had this persona, Terry had this persona of this tough guy, really deep down, he was very gentle and delicate. You could tell by the way that he was with Eva Marie Saint. You know, he was just such a gentleman. And yeah, so those were his two sides. You know, his persona. I hated that he got beat up.
Yeah.
Like it's behind me and Jeff, but you got to expect that when you're dealing with that kind of mentality of longshoremen and unions back in that day, like 1953.
Back in the day, yeah.
It was all about who was the toughest guy, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
Carl
I saw
Malden's
some-
character kind of moved things along throughout this thing.
Mhm.
mhm.
It
And
was
he's
hard for me
really-
not to think of the streets of San Francisco whenever I would see him.
Mhm.
Well, remember, but he's such a good actor because
Oh,
remember
yeah.
him in Streetcar Named Desire? He played kind of that kind of mousy guy. And then and this one he's kind of a tough priest. I mean, he's a good actor.
He's
Talk
paired
about a
up
tough
with
character.
paired up with Marlon Brando in another movie called One-Eyed Jacks.
And Streetcar, yeah.
Yeah, which is filmed in Monterey, California area. So I might pick that sometime. It's pretty interesting. It's black and white, but you know, back in the whenever it was 40s, 50s, Monterey was pretty undeveloped, and so it's the rocky shore and the Monterey cypress, and it's pretty cool.
Hmm.
I don't know about the story, but you know, it's a Western, so you can see Karl
Yeah.
Malden as a Western character.
I mean, I saw that this was like Marlon Brando's fourth movie. You know, it was 1954. I think his first one was 1950. And so I guess he was an up and coming star. I mean, I don't
Well,
know.
he was a stage actor first. That's why even Streetcar, that's how he got Streetcar Named Desire, because he got such rave reviews on Broadway for Streetcar. So I mean, he did not a lot on Broadway before he came to the movies. I don't know
What
if
was
he
the
did a
one he
lot.
was in that was kind of pornographic?
Oh,
Last-
that
The Last Tango in
Last
Paris.
Tango
Tango
in
in
Paris.
Paris.
Mhm.
Yeah, Last Tango in Paris. Yeah. X-rated. I remember that.
I think it was the first movie after the Godfather series, I think.
Oh, really? Oh,
Well, because it was mid '70s, and the Godfathers were early '70s, right?
right,
72, I
right.
think.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he was a legend in The Godfather. I mean, probably to all of us, you know. And then he kind of aged out, I guess. You know,
Moved to
Batman, or did he end up being in Batman or something? Or
Apocalypse Now.
No, he was,
Colonel.
wasn't he
Yeah.
Kal-El in Superman? Wasn't he
That's it,
Superman's
Oh, that's
father?
right. Yeah, that's right.
Superman's father.
Jor-El.
And
Jor-El, yes.
I do believe that was the first time an actor made $1 million for a role.
For a few
Marlon
words.
Brando in
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah.
Now they make umpteen $1 million for just third-rate movies. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I read that too, or it came up before, and he like set a precedent on that, and other guys are coming in to do the same thing and making tons of money. Veteran actors and things like that.
I read
That was-
when Coppola wanted him for Godfather, the studio said, no way. That guy's
Yeah.
too much trouble. We're not going to do it. And they said, I'll tell you what, if you can get him to come in here and do a screen test, we'll consider it. And they knew that he'd never do a screen test. So Coppola took a handheld camera, went over to his house and said, I want to try a few things with you, if you don't mind, you know? And so he was taking some pictures of him and he goes, what do you got going here? And he goes, oh, I'm working on this movie and thought there'd be a good one in it and blah, blah, blah. And Brando got into it. You know, he thought it was kind of cool. And he said, here, hang on a second. He pulled some cotton out of a aspirin bottle in his bathroom, stuffed it in his cheeks. And then he did it again. And Coppola said, that's perfect. That's just great. And he took it back to the studio and they said, well, he is pretty good in that screen test.
That was for Godfather, not Apocalypse Now.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right.
They didn't,
Yeah,
and they
Godfather.
didn't know who the actor was.
Oh, they
He
couldn't
faked him
even
out so
recognize
much
him.
they did not know that was Marlon Brando
Wow.
when he did that with the cotton in his cheeks.
Yeah.
They didn't know that's who it was.
Now, when he did do Apocalypse Now, he had all of his lines run through a earpiece.
Really?
Yeah, he couldn't remember there was a lot of rambling in that, you know, and he couldn't do it. So they just wired him up and you'll notice that he stops and then he goes on and then he stops and goes on.
Oh, he'd have lines written like on the back of a chair or sitting on a desk, you know, just he'd have his lines in many different movies. He just got lazy. And another piece of trivia in Mutiny on the Bounty, he went through 28 pairs of those tight white pants because his ass was so fat that he kept tearing them out.
Only you, Tara, would know that.
Well, I read a biography of him that was like that freaking thick, you know. So.
Wow. He moved to Tahiti, didn't he? Eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And got even fatter and lived kind of a
Yeah.
life of
Recluse.
debauchery. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought, go ahead.
I was looking at movies that Ava Marie Saint was in, and she was in 2006 Superman Returns, and she played Martha Kent.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I guess they were maybe I was thinking they were reunited, but that's right. Jor-El was married to somebody else.
Yeah. Well, he was up on Krypton, and
were
she was
in-laws,
down.
so.
Yeah, she was down on in Iowa or wherever they're from. Yeah.
I don't know. I thought Marlon Brando, you know, like Rob Reiner, I think it was just, you couldn't take your eyes off the guy, man. It was like
Right.
great performance. I mean, God, he just like was the whole thing, man.
You really noticed that his eye makeup was kind of kabuki.
Yeah, I
he
thought
looked
so.
like he
Yeah.
looked like he had coal on there or something.
And he had a cut on his right brow or something.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
that's
it
what
was-
I thought. He had like a boxer's face, like getting
Yes.
hit so much on the brow that it's swollen there.
But also,
didn't
when
give
you,
him
when you look at
a ear
kabuki
thing.
makeup, the darker eyes like that usually mean a criminal or a demon. So
Ah,
I knew he wasn't a criminal or a demon to begin with, but
hmm.
they kind of redid his makeup at the end.
Yeah.
So do you think that them saying that this was like one of the top movies ever made is purely based on Brando's performance, or?
I don't know. I think it would be Kazan too.
Yeah, everything. I mean, everything worked together between Kazan and Leonard Bernstein doing the music, and all the actors are good. You know, there isn't a bad actor in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Really.
I couldn't believe that was Rod Steiger, his brother
Yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie.
That was young.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The story
Okay,
was really cohesive too. I thought.
Yes.
You know, it really hung together and it had you know, it was one of those things that Gary would probably like the arc of the story.
Right. The arc of his change in character from trying to be the tough guy, like Chris said, and then, you know, that his conscience got the best of him. And of course, the love of a good woman, you know.
And a good pigeon.
Yeah,
Good pigeon.
that's right. That pigeon thing, yeah.
Of different varieties, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It grossed me out when he was eating the pigeon food, you know.
Whatever that was, yeah.
I did enjoy watching Lee J. Cobb, is that his name?
Yes,
Yeah.
Lee J.
friendly.
I enjoyed watching him play a tough guy and getting taken down. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, I know I've seen him in almost the same role before. I never could think.
12 Angry Men. Yeah.
Oh,
Same,
did
yeah,
we see
same
that?
role.
Was that one of our movies? 12 Angry Men?
I don't know.
I don't know that we've seen it or not.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh,
saw-
oh, yeah, that's
We
a
saw
good one.
Inherit the Wind, which was kind of a courtroom drama, but I don't think we've done 12 Angry Men.
He
Mm-mm.
played the
Huh.
detective in The Exorcist.
Oh,
Hmm.
Oh,
Remember?
really? Oh, I don't remember that. Huh.
I think I read he was in several Gunsmokes.
You're
Oh, I'm
talking
sure.
Lee J. Cobb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he had a lead in some 60s Western. I don't remember what it was now.
Lee J. Cobb did? Huh.
And I mean,
Yeah.
he stayed pretty tough in this movie until the end, and then he went down pretty fast, I thought.
Mhm.
No, but you gotta go down sometime, right? You gotta
time
bring
to
it.
wrap it up, you know, the producer's like, come on.
Yeah, yeah. It was only, it's a short film, isn't it? I mean, it's not real long.
I think
Hour
it-
48, I think I read.
Oh, well, that's longer than I thought, huh?
That was in the
I-
days when that was just enough time for an intermission too, though.
Right,
They would still
Right.
break for that.
right.
I saw some parallel between Brando's character's naivete with women and Robert De Niro's naivete with women in Taxi Driver. I could sort of see a parallel there, both kind of tough guys who really knew their way around some stuff, but not other stuff. That was one of the insights I had. I thought the symbolism of the pigeon was kind of interesting, because he was sort of one, but he was for good reasons. And I
Yeah.
also, I can't not mention Karl Malden's nasal tip anatomy.
He looks like the fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought of this, but when he was given his soliloquy after they unloaded the whiskey on top of the guy that had gone to the commission there. By the way, what a horrible waste of whiskey, by the way. And he's talking about, he's making an analogy between Jesus' crucifixion and the crucifixion of some of the other. When Charlie Malloy met his demise, hanging on the thing by a hook, it was kind of had a crucifixion connotation to it.
Ah, interesting insight.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Indeed.
What the heck did they use those hooks for? I mean, they
Grabbing
still
bales
use,
and
everything.
stuff. Yeah.
what is it,
It-
just moving like bales or
Yeah.
boxes or
Mhm.
something?
Yeah, they're just grappling hooks.
Oh,
Like that thing that fell on the guy and killed him, grabbing the ropes and just anything.
Huh.
Pretty handy.
I
In
see.
in other context, you can handle a side of beef with one of those hooks.
Oh, I
The hook in
see.
the- and I
Yeah.
doubt. I mean, I don't think they hung it through their clothes when they hung people up like that. Like he was he was hanging
Yeah.
from his clothes. I don't think they put it through their clothes when they hung guys up like
Yeah.
that. They had
Yeah.
to tone that down a little bit for 50s movies.
Oh, 50, yeah.
So Jeff, is his nose like that? You think he was born that way, or did he
Yeah.
get injured?
Yeah,
or-
that's his anatomy. He's got
Yeah.
this part of your nose there's a pair of cartilages that curl around, and his are huge. So they give him that sort of bulbous nasal tip. There is a condition that sometimes the skin is really thick and oily, but that's not what's going on with him. He's just got a lot of cartilage in there. I point that out to people sometimes when I'm talking about their noses and say, this is, if you've ever seen, or what's the woman's name? She was in The Last Picture Show. She's got
Cheryl,
Sybil
Cheryl,
Shepherd.
no, Sybil Shepherd, yeah.
Sybil Shepherd, yeah. She's got cartilages like that too, but on a female scale.
Yeah.
I suffer from having to watch these details, and it distracts me from the story sometimes.
I bet it does.
Good one.
So if you ever witness a crime and they say, "Did you get a description?" You could give them a description, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
go, what?
You talk about the bulbous cartilage and the
right.
Jeff Copeland, have you seen American Fiction?
I have not.
Yes.
Okay, well, there's a character in there who is a plastic surgeon, so
Oh,
you might
okay.
enjoy some of his remarks.
Yeah, they're pretty funny, some of those.
I'll check it
I
out.
really, yeah, it's good. I think it was good. Did you like it, Mike?
Oh, yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I wish
I
I
did
could have
too.
seen it sooner, but they put them off. They leave them at that 1999 for quite a while.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't really think Wright was gonna win Best Actor for it, but
Chris
I think it
did.
won Best Adapted Screenplay, though. That guy that won the screenplay.
Right. Yeah.
Won that.
Yeah.
And I thought he was great. He was like, I didn't know anything about directing or writing or anything. And I turned 40 years old and I said, I'm gonna try to do this, so don't give up.
Yeah.
Who said that?
The guy that won Best Adapted Screenplay for American Fiction.
Oh,
For American Fiction. Yeah, it was really good, I thought.
should we talk about the Academy Awards?
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
I
I
mean,
had 4 right guesses.
let's see, I had 1, 2,
That's all.
3,
What did it won 7? And how many did this film that we're talking about?
4.
7?
8. It won 8.
On the waterfront did, or
That's what you said.
okay. I believe it.
Oh, I had 5. I'm shocked.
Nominated
believe
for
you?
12. So Oppenheimer was picture,
Yes,
director, actor.
Nolan. Yeah,
And cinematography, I think.
Yes, that's right.
yeah. Oh, and supporting Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was great in that.
He was great in that.
He was
He
he
really
was a
good.
runaway winner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That Divine Joy Randolph.
Yeah.
I remember. I remember her in The Holdovers, but I don't remember her being. I don't know. What I remember more than anything is that she was in Only Murders in the Building.
She was.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, she was the detective in Only Murders in the Building.
Huh.
And that's what I remember. And when I saw her, I went, oh, but I guess I just wasn't, I don't know. I guess I just wasn't that impressed with her performance. And maybe it was just really good. Sometimes, being subtle is really good. I just didn't take note of it.
She was Giamatti's foil, wasn't she, pretty much?
Yeah. I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, she was. She was.
I mean, she
I
was
have to, s-
the secretary that was stuck there with him, or wasn't she a
Yeah.
secretary or
No, she was the cafeteria manager.
cafeteria?
Yeah.
that thing about Giamatti wearing a contact lens for the whole thing to keep him looking like he had a lazy eye was pretty fascinating.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wondered that when I saw that movie, because I thought that's just too pronounced.
Yeah.
If a person actually had
A lazy eye. Yeah.
a lazy eye or had a prosthetic eye or something, generally, I wouldn't think that, but that became like a part of the
Mhm.
script, so. It had a
Well,
lot of context to it.
he's such an amazing actor. I remember in Sideways, he knows nothing about wine. Nothing. He can't,
Right.
someone was, I think, did you say it, Mike, or did we see it or something? That
No, but
that it was, I think he thought Chardonnay was a red wine. He knows nothing. And then Sideways was so good. He's just a really good actor in everything.
Have you been drinking and dialing again?
Is that from Sideways?
Yeah. He'd
Yeah.
get drunk and call his friend.
Yeah.
You've been drinking
Yeah.
and dialing again. That was one of the funniest movies. That's like hilarious. I love that
I
movie.
know. I loved
God
it.
damn. When he gets
And-
out of the car and he's running down the hill drinking. Oh God. And I stopped at the motel
Oh, really?
where the guy with the windmill that goes around and around.
Yeah.
And I
Oh
went
my
in and asked him,
God.
yeah, what room? What room? And he goes, well, it's room 234. So yeah, because it's
It was
right
so
on
good.
that motel's on the on 101, right there in the middle of the wine country down there around San Luis Obispo. So,
So good.
Well, I was watching last night and they kept showing Robert De Niro and everything, and I was thinking that the old guard, it's almost over for those guys. You know, it's
I
like
know.
same thing. You don't see Jack Nicholson at the Oscars anymore or anything. You know, it's like a whole new crowd is coming in.
Yep.
They made mention last night that about De Niro and Jodie Foster and the taxi driver
Yeah,
when the movie was made, what, 40 years ago
48
or
years ago.
Yeah.
yeah. And then there they both were last night, you know, at the Oscars,
Yeah. That's
their
great.
roles.
They said that 48 years ago that Jodie Foster was too young to date Robert De Niro, and now she's too old to date him. They put the camera on her and she goes,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind you, she's a lesbian, so there you go.
Yes. Yes. It'd be really tough.
The lesbian thespian.
Yeah. That's right.
and speaking of Robert De Niro, if you've never watched Cape Fear, it's
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. That's
Most
a really
recent with Juliette Lewis.
right.
I forget
Yeah.
who plays her father.
And the original, the one with Robert Mitchum, is
Robert
really good
Mitchum.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the original. Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good one.
Both of them will make your skin crawl. They really will.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
missed the best actress and went with Lily Gladstone, who's from around here in the Northwest. It's my personal favorite. And I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have just said, well, she got the nomination and that'll be good enough for the Academy.
She's actually from Montana. She's from the Blackfeet tribe.
Well,
just-
she may be, but she went to high school here because her whole high school was watching it on TV at the same
Yeah.
time.
That's
Ah.
the tribe that she's part of, and I just found it intriguing because I lived in Missoula for a while, and there
Oh.
were a lot of Blackfeet that lived in the Missoula area. So, yeah, I'm sure she moved around.
Wow.
yeah, she's been in a few movies, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I thought this was
I
a,
think this is their first one.
I thought I saw
yeah, I
her.
thought, now she's in a show on Netflix or a recurring show. I can't remember
Right.
the name, or it's coming up. I think I
Coming
saw
up,
her.
I think they're
Yeah.
starting to advertise that for her.
Yeah.
So, but she made history just being nominated. So,
Well, she
Yeah.
won previous awards, didn't she? I mean,
oh yeah, she
Golden Globes and
SAG and all that kind of stuff.
BAFTA.
She had all the
Oh,
precursors
yeah.
that
Yeah.
most people would normally have, but they didn't give it to her. And then
Yeah.
I saw Scorsese went up to her at a point and kind of comforted her after she lost.
Yeah.
I thought that was kinda cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, I have not seen, what's that one that Emma Stone,
Poor
Poor
Things.
Things. I
Yeah.
haven't
Ugh.
seen it.
It's pretty wild.
People I know
pretty wild.
hate it. I mean, it's not a, you know, mediocre. Either you love it or you hate it is what I'm getting.
It's on
'Cause
Hulu
everyone-
right now
Pardon
for
me?
free. It's
Oh,
on
really?
Hulu right now for free.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No,
Oh, I didn't
No,
know
it is.
that. Huh.
that's where I watched it.
And what did you guys think?
It's crazy. It's
Well,
like Benjamin Button in reverse.
Yeah, yeah,
Or it's like Frankenstein in reverse.
yeah.
Whitaker has
mean-
mentioned it many times and he goes, just go watch it. It's weird, but go watch it. It definitely was weird.
Yeah.
I thought it would get cinematography. It didn't, did it? That's
No.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Oppenheimer
cinematography.
did.
Oppenheimer did, yeah.
Something else
Yeah,
on
it got
Yeah.
production design and makeup and hair were a couple of them.
There you go.
Best
Showing
actor.
your brain being pulled out of your hair takes a lot of makeup.
Yeah, yeah.
But her hair never quit growing, you know, that, you know, Godwin told her that her hair would just keep growing and growing, and growing, and you could see throughout the movie the length of it. That, and she also, as she aged, became smarter. You know, she grew up from that little girl brain into a woman with her different activities going on, but she became very, very smart. She was just brilliant. And I loved it at the end when she took care of that husband. Yeah. he
Definitely
became
going
the
to see it.
Poor
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Poor
poor
thing.
thing.
It's
Poor things.
yeah.
I thought it would get cinematography because I was sitting there watching it and like they walked onto the street. You kind of thought you were like, you know, turn of the century. I don't know what century in England or something. But then there was like a monorail system up there and you know, as they walked out onto the street and you're going, you don't really know, you know, where you're at, what time zone you're in or anything. It's futuristic and it also kind of reflected on the past too. So I thought,
Steam,
I thought that
steampunk.
was fun. Huh?
That was the time
Yeah.
of steampunk.
Mhm.
Is that something?
What'd you think every time that Godwin burped? Do you remember that? Every time
Oh,
God
when he
burped?
belched,
Yes.
that was wild.
If Donna, if you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna tell you, but that was it. There's just some crazy, crazy stuff and
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But there's so many people here that just really aren't liking it. Huh, okay. It's all right.
Surprised Leonardo didn't get mentioned for best actor. You know, he had a pretty good role
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't think I don't remember seeing him last night or anything like that.
And yeah, you're right.
He had a date with a 20-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah,
The 20-year-old
So?
native girl.
yeah. I did see the ABCs of book banning. That was the only short that I saw. It's a documentary.
Mm.
But it's really good. Really, especially, of course, I'm living in crazy state
I
here.
was gonna say, don't you have to? Is that just required viewing in Sarasota with the Moms for Liberty?
Crazy book banning.
Well, it is, of course, I have so many friends that are teachers and they're just up in arms about it but what's so good about the documentary short, and you can see it's on Netflix or Prime, it's on one of them. And what's so good about it is that it's called the ABCs of book banning, and it's kids, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds that are talking about the books that they've read that have been banned, and it's just a really interesting way that that you saw it through kids' eyes. what they're thinking about all of this. And the truth wasn't, it's like they don't even understand why they're being banned. They can't figure it out. You know, they're so what if it's two penguins that are both male? So, you know, they're like that. And you know, it just is just amazing. And there's 3 different categories of banning. It's completely banned, restricted, or challenged. One person can challenge a book they don't like. James Baldwin's book is I think that's banned, if I'm not mistaken. A book about Rosa Parks, banned. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, it is. It's just horrible. But it's I thought the documentary's and it's short. It is a short documentary, but I thought it was really good.
Are they banned in this district? Or are they banned across the United States, or?
In
Florida.
Well, every
Florida.
state is now deciding, you know, what's good, but Florida is really the key. I'm sure Alabama has, I guess there's a bunch of states that are banning books.
Okay.
I want to say 13 that's coming to my head, but I might be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, just unbelievable. And
I actually thought the song that what's his name sang, "I'm Only Ken," might have won, but I didn't pick it. But the
I know, it
one
was
from
pretty
Barbie
good, though.
did, "What Am I Made For?"
Yeah.
And that was one I missed because I picked the one with
Well, I did it. Well, I thought the song was good, but it was Billie Eilish, and I figured that they would go with
We all
her.
picked the John Baptiste song.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
sorry, I was
documentary
just told by
feature,
my
I don't
wife
know-
to point out that Claudette Colbert was in On the Waterfront, but I have no idea where. So there you
What?
go. She just
Claudette
said Claudette
Colbert?
Colbert was in On the Waterfront. I have no idea where, but she just demanded that I point that out.
She's just messing with us.
Yeah, she's not. I don't think so.
No, she
She's a
just showed me on Wikipedia or something, Aaron.
She's a longshoreman.
Yeah.
with the enormous nose.
Yeah.
Claudette Colbert,
And
what
then,
could
I
she
don't know if you
be?
guys knew this, but there was no documentary feature nomination from the United States at all.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The 20 Days in Mariupol was a frontline AP thing that was done with people who lived in the Ukraine. And that's what
Yeah.
won, which I
Yeah.
don't know if any of you've seen that, but PBS does great and Frontline, they do great stuff. And
Yeah, they do.
just for future, I found that I don't have a PBS passport, which you can pay like $60 a year and watch just about anything they have, streaming thing.
Yeah.
But Amazon Prime does have PBS channels, and one of them is PBS documentary channel. And it's only like $2.99 a month or $1.99. So if there is
Yeah.
something you want to watch there, and that's where I watched it.
Yeah, but
Karl Malden, doesn't it? Marlon Brando. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised to hear that the Mariupol doc doesn't qualify as an American documentary because WETA bankrolls a lot of that, and so does the PBS station in Boston, GBH, and AP is an American company.
Yeah, I know, but they pointed that out. And then the guy that got up there said this is the first Oscar ever for Ukraine. I think it was a Ukrainian crew. I think it was really an AP crew, but they would hire out of Ukraine. I'm not sure how that worked.
There was a thing local about best acceptance speech, and they didn't say anything about that one, but that was a really good acceptance speech that those guys for the.
Yeah, that was very good. Yes.
I thought Robert Downey Jr. was pretty good. I want to
He's
thank
always
my
good.
rotten childhood and the Academy in that order.
He's a mess.
There's a movie out there about Robert Downey and his father.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yep.
They did have a strange relationship. I watched parts of it. My wife was watching it. I watched parts of it. And it was, his father was strange, right?
Well, he was also a director and, in the movies and all that. So,
And he liked to do, pretty strange types of movies.
Right,
What's
right.
the guy's name? But anyway,
Wes,
Carpenter, like,
yeah.
John Carpenter.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, I've got a correction. She was not
Yes.
on the waterfront. She was in I Covered the Waterfront, whatever the hell movie that was.
Okay.
I just looked it up
I told my
too.
wife to have another glass of wine.
It's a 1933 movie.
I was trying to figure out. She'd have to be Eva Marie Saint's mother,
Yeah.
That's all I could figure.
She said she hopes that will not hurt her chances for future consideration for the LUFC.
No, she was the one short shoreman.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Been a
Did
long
you tell
day.
her-
Recommendations.
Did you tell
for
her
next
you have
time?
enough trouble with this group?
Yeah.
yeah, really.
Yeah, Cape Fear.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Whose
And
pitch is
street-
it, by the way, Bill?
I
Streetcar
think it's
named
me.
Desire.
It might be me. Or no,
No.
it's Jeff.
I think it's me.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so
ABC.
I have selected for next week a movie from 1974 with multiple stars that we all know. Gene Hackman is the main character. It's called The Conversation.
Oh, yes.
And it is for those who haven't seen it, it is kind of an early harbinger of the surveillance environment that we live in today and some of the offshoots of that and some of the mischief that people can get into. It's got Harrison Ford and Terry Garr and a few other people that you'll recognize. And Gene Hackman does an amazing job with his embodying that character. So if you haven't seen it before, I hope you like it. And my recommendation.
That is good.
Great.
Yeah. I'll ask a question of the group because maybe they'll know. There's a movie that I don't think I've ever seen it, but I've heard so much about it. And what Gene Hackman is in it, and it's about he is trying to get somebody out of a prisoner camp, and they both have golfed on the same golf course, and they use the golf course as where this guy has to go. Now that's all really I know about it, but it just sounded so interesting that he had to try to keep, they had to kind of, this code was where this guy had to go based on, the dog leg left on 9 or that kind of stuff. And I just thought it sounded interesting, but I have no idea. I thought it might have been The Conversation, but it's not. And I just, anybody, does it even ring a bell to anybody?
Man,
Not to me.
Uh-huh. Sorry.
Google, Google all
Hey, my-
that. Put that into one line for Google, Mr. Google.
Yeah,
will tell you.
actually, I never thought you're right. Yeah, I will do that. Yes.
Ms. Google, as the case may be.
You can report back next week.
I will.
We'll let you do the research.
Thank
called
you. I
Bat-
will.
Bat 21.
Oh, is that it? Oh my God. Thank you. BAT, BAT 21.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Mm.
It's actually Bat asterisk 21, if
Huh.
that's how you have to look it up.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike. I'm telling you, it's been years. I was like, I wonder what that movie is. The only other one that I want to recommend it with reservations, and that is Requiem for a Dream. It's won awards, but it is it's all about drugs, basically. But Ellen Burstyn's in it. There's a lot of good people in it, really good actors. And it's one of those movies that it's not entertainment because you kind of feel, afterwards, but it's really good. You know, it's weird and good and strange and funny in parts, and then it really gets you at the end. But I'd recommend it anyway. If
Who's the
you're in the
director?
mood, if you're in that kind of mood, I guess. Yeah.
Do you know who the director was for that? That rings a bell.
Requiem for a Dream. I cannot remember.
That's
I
all right.
can't
I can
remember.
look it up.
So I don't really think I have a movie to recommend or anything, but I went to Comic-Con this weekend.
I saw
Oh.
that on
I-
Facebook.
I dressed up as a medical doctor from Star Trek, so I guess I was McCoy. He said, "Commander," and I said, "I'm a doctor, damn it." But anyway, I got there, and you know, it's just packed. It was just packed, and I ended up going to a couple of the shows, and one was John Bernthal, and I listened to him give a speech. And that was kind of cool, being in a room with an actor, you know, and all that, and just listening to him talk. Then I went with my daughter to see the cast from Scream.
Oh my.
Which one?
All of them. It was like, I mean, you know, they like, I'm learning that they were like, a couple of them were in one, and then they got killed, and then, you know, so they were like, it was an ensemble from all 7 of them.
Oh
But,
my God.
But it was fun. They talked about it, and I came home last night and watched the first Scream, and
Wasn't that Jamie Lee Curtis?
No, that's Halloween.
It was Nev Campbell, and I mean, it's like the Fonz was actually in it too. The Fonz, there was like 50 people that were giving away, selling signatures. You know, the Fonz was one. He could have easily been in this ensemble group for Scream, but he wasn't. He was busy making money. I mean, we were figuring out how much money they make. They each had the number. So like Charlie Hunnam, he was the guy from Sons of Anarchy. He was like, he had one that said $125 per signature. And then I heard him say that they each give like 5 minutes, and they would also cut deals like Charlie might say $500 for 5 signatures, cutting them a break, you know?
Oh my
And
God.
so if you think about that, you know, $100 every 5. So what would that be? How much would that be an hour? It's a lot, and that's why those guys are there. That's
What did Winkler charge? Do you remember?
Winkler. No, because he didn't have it posted. He
All
didn't-
right.
He didn't have it posted on. Most of them had it posted, but I will say that we went by Winkler's booth several times, and he was the only guy I saw that was out in front of it. And he looked like he was really getting with the fans and all that. All the rest of them were. There were some interesting guys there. I mean, the guy that plays the evil emperor in Star Wars, he was there.
Well,
Fun.
Winkler's a big Chiefs fan, so he should have been given a hometown discount or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said something. They got him on TV saying he was hoping that Patrick Mahomes would come down and visit him.
Huh.
I didn't see him. It was fun. But no, I mean, I thought the Scream might be fun, like for a Halloween genre movie pick, you know, but I don't know. It's a parody for sure. But I'm not recommending that. I don't really.
I had a brush with fame while I was on the cruise. I got to shake Leland Sklar's hand.
Oh.
Leland
Sklar. He was a bass player for everybody
Oh, okay.
in like numerous groups. He's kind of like the backup band for so many different people. Jackson Brown and you're just all these different people. And
Wow.
ask him to pose for a picture, but I learned later that every time he poses for a picture, he flips the camera off. So
I had a picture taken with Bo Diddley, and what he does is he acts like you just goosed him. Right when they get ready to take the picture, he goes, "Oh." I'll have to dig that out for you guys sometime.
Anybody else
bet
got
you got-
any movies before we about to the end here?
Oh, it's getting late, isn't it?
Oh,
I can't think of anything.
Thanks for letting me rewatch that, Bill.
Yeah, good pick.
Yeah.
that's good.
I like
It was
watching that
good.
too.
Very
That's
good.
my first time seeing it.
It's a hell of a movie.
yep.
All right, y'all. Well, have a good week.
Good one, Bill.
All right.
You too.
All right. See
You
you
guys,
guys.
are you
Everybody.
Irish guys gonna be able to make it next week?
Yeah, we'll be probably having breakfast just before the 7 o'clock start.
Okay. All right.
We'll be
That's
there.
great. All right.
All right.
Hey.
See y'all.
Take
Yeah.
Bye,
care.
you guys.